This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1378, How to Get 1 Month Ahead Financially by Robert Farrington of thecollegeinvestor.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. This is the show where I serenade you with the sweet sounds of personal finance knowledge from some of the best blogs on the planet. For now, let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. How to Get 1 Month Ahead Financially by Robert Farrington of thecollegeinvestor.com. Does getting 1 month ahead financially sound like a fantasy? It doesn't have to be. A recent study commissioned by Discover Personal Loans found that many respondents understand the importance of paying off debt and increasing their savings, but aren't making near the progress on those goals that they'd like to. This isn't surprising, especially since 60% of the survey respondents reported dipping into savings to pay monthly expenses in the past 5 years. Also, 38% were trying to save to pay off debt. The thing is, if you're working hard to pay off your debt, save for retirement, and build up your savings, minor unforeseen expenses can completely throw you off track and restart the paycheck to paycheck cycle. If you really want to make financial headway, you need to break that cycle. A good place to start is getting 1 month ahead of your expenses. Acknowledge your situation. Before you can realistically get ahead, you need to acknowledge your situation. If you pretend you're okay, avoid looking at your bills, and completely dismiss the fact that financial health is important to your life and stress levels, you will not get anywhere. Accept the situation you're in and get fired up enough to do something about it. While it is hard to dig yourself out of a hole, it's also completely possible if you want it bad enough. On top of that, you will reap huge rewards from taking action and control of your current situation. Ready to change your financial life? First, you need to determine whether you have an expense problem, meaning you spend too much money, or you have an income problem, you don't make enough to cover the basic costs of living. You might be strictly in one of these categories, or maybe you're a little of both. Either way, you can course correct. Lower your regular spending if you have an expense problem. If you're normally a big spender and are upset at yourself over the situation you're in right now, I want you to stop. I'm going to pull a quote from Your Money or Your Life and tell you no shame, no blame. We all make mistakes. Beating yourself up over past spending will do absolutely nothing for you right now. Instead, just accept where you're at and make a commitment to smarter financial decisions. You can't undo the past, but you can control your future. So, if your expenses are much higher than they should be, here are a few practical ways to lower them. Shopping bans or allowances. If your weak spot is shopping, try doing no spend months until you're able to save enough money to get ahead. If you know that you can't stop pleasure spending altogether, then go in baby steps. Instead of completely avoiding buying things that you want, give yourself a budget. Just be sure that this budget is much lower than what you're normally spending, and that after this budget and meeting of all your regular expenses, you'll have money left over to save. High interest debt. If you're in debt, especially high interest debt, the interest payments are eating up a big chunk of your money. If you're really committed to this process, one thing you can do is roll all of your high interest credit card or consumer debt into a lower interest loan with a product like Discover Personal Loans. This is essentially consolidating your debts. You'll now have one payment with hopefully a lower interest rate. This will reduce the amount you pay in interest and make it easier to manage all of your debts. However, if there is any chance that by consolidating your debts, you'll then reaccumulate them, don't do it. This is only a good move for someone who is committed to staying out of future consumer debt and who wants to easily manage current debts plus save on interest. Lower monthly fixed expenses. The thing about fixed expenses is that they're not really fixed. It's kind of an oxymoron, I know. Things like cable, cell phones, groceries, insurance, car payments, utilities, and even housing can be lowered. None of your payments are set in stone. Start shopping around, eliminating, and getting creative so that you can lower your basic living expenses. Earn extra money if you have an income problem. Not everyone has expense problems. I'm sure there are many of you who are frugal but are still struggling to get ahead. I completely understand. However, you need to believe that you have the power to earn more money, because you do. The internet has opened up a whole new world where with smart thinking and hard work, you can make money online ethically. A few examples would be freelance writing, tutoring, selling on Amazon or eBay, or having an Etsy shop. Those are just popular choices and not an all-extensive list by any means. Then there are other options like starting an offline side business like house cleaning, babysitting, tutoring, or yard work. You also have the option to work more at your current job if that's possible. Once again, you need to get creative. If you have an income problem, then you'll never get ahead unless you're proactive about it. Start small. Look for a way to earn an extra $50 this week. Do it again next week and the week after. Save the difference. Now that you've either lowered your expenses or increased your income, you need to save the difference. In fact, you need to automatically save the difference. If you were able to slash your expenses by $100 a week, then have that money automatically transferred to an online savings account. If you're earning an extra $50 a week, do the same. Make sure your newfound money is accessible, but not too accessible. Since it normally takes 2 to 3 days for money to transfer from an online savings account to a checking account with a different bank, you won't be able to impulsively spend the money you work so hard to save. Keep on saving until you're 1 month ahead. What to do next? I can about guarantee you'll feel liberated once you get 1 month ahead, especially if this was something you once never thought possible. Keep up the momentum. Set your next financial goal, whether that be saving an emergency fund, which is recommended, paying down debt, or saving for a large purchase like a house. Ruthlessly prioritize until you end up where you want to be. I promise it will be well worth all of your hard work. You just listened to the post titled, How to Get 1 Month Ahead Financially by Robert Farrington of thecollegeinvestor.com. If you're a startup owner, this is for you. Running a business is just plain hard. Endless to-do lists, employees to take care of, and your ever-present bottom line. So first of all, kudos to you for staying on top of it. But I want to tell you about Gusto. Gusto built an easier and more affordable way to manage payroll, benefits, and more. They help over 100,000 businesses with tasks like automated payroll tax filing, simple direct deposits, free health insurance administration, 401ks, onboarding tools, you name it, Gusto made it easy. 94% of customers say Gusto streamlines payroll and benefits, and we agree here on the Optimal Living Daily team. We use Gusto for our payroll. Plus, they really care about the small business owners they work with. Their support team is attentive and helpful. Since money can be tight right now, you'll get 3 months free once you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/OFD and start setting up your business today. You'll see what I mean when I say easy. Again, that's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/OFD. gusto.com/OFD. And a little note, Discover Products did sponsor that post for Robert, but his opinions are his own. I can tell you from personal experience that getting 1 month ahead is well worth the effort. And that 1 month will create momentum to reach even greater savings goals. So while it might not seem like much, you have to start somewhere. It might be hard to believe when you have a spending problem that getting out of debt, saving, and investing will provide the same satisfaction as buying new shiny things or spending money with abandon. But that has certainly been my experience, and I think the key is to build more of a desire for freedom than you have for whatever is depleting your money today. I had a friend back in New York City who was a fitness fanatic and also a ninja when it came to saving and investing. Whether she was talking about healthy eating and exercise or money decisions, she would always use the phrase, find a greater want. I would think of this when my alarm would go off at 6 a.m. and I wanted to sleep in rather than go to the gym. I would remind myself that as much as I wanted to stay in my warm bed, I wanted the benefits of exercise much more. I also appreciate Robert acknowledging in this article that you might have an income problem that deserves your attention. While our consumerist culture often results in many of us having a spending problem, you can only cut expenses so much before it starts to feel like deprivation, and that level is going to be different for everyone. So you are really the only person who can determine if you have a spending problem or an income problem, or both. And that'll do it for today and another installment of Optimal Finance Daily. Have a happy Thursday. Thank you for being here every day and listening. And I'll see you in the Friday show tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.